Hello, 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 ladies. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's so good to see you here at our 10-minute training. I am CT, otherwise known as Kathy Tarbots, and I am here to talk to you about the Storyteller's Blueprint, mastering the art and science of engaging your audience. Hi, I'm on camera now. Okay, so listen, there's so much to say about storytelling, right? I mean, have you ever heard people talking, oh, you need to storytell, you need to storytell, and people are telling you why it's so important? And you probably have thought to yourself, yeah, I get that storytelling is needed in my marketing and in my sales and to create engagement. And possibly in your mind somewhere, you are thinking, okay, I need to somehow gain this skill or at least improve upon it. And then you might have heard all the marketers saying 2023, marketing is all about storytelling. And you're told over and over and over again just how important it is. And you're told you need to tell your story. But have you ever been left confused? Or asking yourself so many questions like, what story? What story should resonate? I'm here to tell you that your story is more than just what you tell your audience. I really want to encourage you to think about the experience that you want your audience to feel when they're hearing your story. Simply put, imagine that you had a framework and a way to be able to communicate your story so that your audience could see themselves in the story, hear themselves in the story, and feel themselves in the story. There's a little known secret in the storytelling world about how to do this. There are so many tips that I can share. Today's tip, though, is all about words and the words that matter. Okay, so let's do a little experiment just to see how words might matter. And what I want you to do is just play along, and I'm going to start talking about something really random and really boring. And I just want you to notice when you tune in just a little bit more. Just notice. Maybe write down what I just said, how I said it. Just notice, okay? So let's talk about water, okay? Now, seriously, have you ever really thought about water? Like where it comes from and why it's so important? And all the different forms that water can take? Have you ever imagined a life without water? Or even thought about how important it is for you to drink water on a daily basis? Today, what I want to talk to you about is water. Do you know that there's all different types of water? There's alkaline water, there's filtered water, there's spring water, there's tap water. I didn't know that there were so many waters. I mean, I really did, but I'm just telling you a story right now. So I went on Google and I looked up what type of water is best for hydration. And I learned that alkaline water is good. So what I decided to do was hop in my car and drive to a local grocery store and walk through the aisles until I found alkaline water. So then I grabbed a bottle, I read the ingredients, I went to the register, I cashed out, and in my car on the way home, I started planning. How many bottles of water am I going to need to stay hydrated? And how much money is this going to cost me? And how am I going to know that it's even going to work? Do I need to put a habit together? Do I need a tracker? What's the strategy here? Okay, experiment over. I really want you guys now, maybe even put in the comments below, or at least write a note at somewhere in that story. Whether you know it consciously or not, your unconscious woke up. You see, in NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, we refer to the way that the brain processes information, meaning the way that it takes in information and you communicate it out. It's called our 4 primary rep systems. Voila, here they are. So we have visual, auditory, kinesthetic, and what we call auditory digital. Now, if somewhere in the story you noticed your attention being awoke when I was saying things like imagine or life without, or have you thought about water? And without you consciously knowing, you kind of like tuned in. Or how many of you might have piped up when I started talking about 4 types of water? And when I Googled it, what could I find about the definition or what water was best for hydration? And then how many of you like the part of the story where I was walking in the aisle, grabbing the bottle, getting in my car? And then how many of you like the tracker? I know there's many out there that like the planning and the analysis and the budget. So if you were the imaginary or you thought about it or you were in this, high level thinking about the importance of water, chances are you're visual. That's how you primarily process information. And if you're auditory, you liked the definition. You liked knowing that there are 4 types of water, and then you liked knowing that there was one that was going to keep you hydrated. And if you're kinesthetic, you liked the movement. You liked getting in the store and pulling down the bottle of water off the shelf. And if you're auditory digital, you love the tracker. You love the budgeting. You love the planning. You love the system that this was going to bring into your life. Now, I share all of this with you because it's really important that you know your primary rep system, because there's a good chance that the way that you are communicating is in your primary rep system. Ladies, what does that mean? It means you're missing out on 75% of your audience. So if you ever wonder why it is that you're saying something and it's resonating with people amazingly, and then it's falling on deaf ears on others, it's because your words matter. You have to incorporate words that represent these 4 systems into your stories. Next slide, please. Okay, so I'll move myself around a little bit. Now, what you might want to do is screenshot this, but if you also just DM me, reach out, message me, I'll send you this. You can also Google it. This is just high level, what we call predicates that you can start using in your everyday language, everyday communication to make sure that you're hitting all 4 primary rep systems. So if you're predominantly visual, start weaving in auditory words. Or if you're primary kinesthetic, make sure you're talking visual and auditory. So my challenge for you this week is to start incorporating some of these words into all of your messaging. Now, if you come to the workshop, I'm actually going to teach you what we call the charismatic theory or formula. And it's going to transcend putting all of these words together so that you're constantly engaging your audience. Now, this is tip number 1 of the Storyteller Blueprint. And what I really encourage you to do is to go to my website, because on the website at magicmetaphors.com/quiz, there's a quiz, and it will help you discover your storytelling voice through the lens of your primary rep system. And on the results page, it's going to give you tips and strategies that will work predominantly for your sales and for your writing based on your primary rep system. Now, I'd love to hear your feedback, your questions, and if you're up for the challenge, I've got 2 of them for you. One is to take the quiz and then come back here and let me know what your primary rep system is and what was your biggest takeaway out of today's training. The second challenge would be to take content that you've already written and calculate just how many words are visual, auditory, kinesthetic, and auditory digital to get a better sense of your communication style and where you might be able to improve so that you can reach your entire audience. I'm CT, and I want to be here in your world and you in my world as we go along and uncover more magic tips for storytelling. Bye for now.